Guys,
Hey, morning.
how we doing?
Good. How are you?
What do we got?
Wanted to ask about Bill McGovern, but before I get there, was ever anything publicly said about what happened to Coach Azanaro? Where did he go?
Well, Coach Azanaro is back home in Maine right now.
Did he retire?
I think he tried to catch on in the National Football League. He's looking for other opportunities there.
Okay, so he may coach again.
He could.
Okay. All right, Coach McGovern. I know you've known him and known about him for many years. What drew you to him?
Just through our research, I think we wanted to get some NFL style, bringing both him and Ken in here. Obviously, I think we've done a really good job against the run. But we need to do a better job in pass defense. So some of the coverage principles that Billy and Ken have, pass rush schemes, is kind of what we were looking for.
You said you guys kind of knew about each other when you were both playing in college. What were your early memories of him?
Yeah, Billy was an unbelievable football player in college. He was the all-time leading interception for the FCS level. Comes from a great family of athletes in New Jersey. Started coaching at UMass. Then was at Boston College for a long time. Billy really well there. And then Billy was on our staff when we were in Philadelphia together. So I got an opportunity to work with him.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you talked about having that NFL experience. What does that bring to these guys who have been in the NFL coming here to teach them?
Well, I just think for almost all of our players have goals and aspirations to play at the next level. So to bring some of their techniques and teaching styles is very beneficial to our players. And then some of the tweaks we've done coverage-wise, I think have really helped our guys. So anxious to see it in action this week.
The competition at tackle, let's say right tackle between Giorgio and Tyler Manoa, how's that been looking so far? I know you're still out here.
Yeah, Tyler's on the left side now, so
Tyler's
right
on the
tackle, right tackle, left tackle, and it depends on the day. So we're always trying to get the 5 best offensive linemen on the field. So we have some tackle candidates in Garrett, Tyler, Raekwon, Ciali's out there. Josh Carlin's out there. Bruno Fina's done a really nice job. So it'll be an ongoing rotation as we go through camp. So and the final thing is we're the best 5, right tackle, left tackle. It's the game's turned a little bit. I don't think it's specifically you have to have just a right tackle that's a run block guy, and the left tackle's a pass block guy. Most of the time when you're in spread formations, both tackles are exposed. They don't have a tight end attached to them at all. So they both have to have a similar skill set. So our job is to find the best 5, and then who's the next, because that's really your tackle is who's the next tackle in the game. And he would back up on both the right side and the left side. So at the end of the day, we're looking for the best 8 in a rotation. So who's your starting 5, who's your backup center, who's your backup guard, who's your backup tackle, and then we'll rotate and play all 8 consistently. We've done that since we've been here, but we've got a lot of guys there competing, and they're doing a good job right now. So.
Would you say Raekwon was primarily working at left tackle?
I think that he's worked at both, but we're on day 3, 4. I can't figure that out, so I don't know where Drev has him in the rotation. But for guys that just got here, we've tried to keep them in one spot. Ciali's just stayed on the right side just because he didn't practice there in the spring, so he's back today. But eventually we'll start to rotate those guys on both sides.
Did John Gaines come back?
Gainesy, sir.
The linebacker group down a couple guys. Who do you think has kind of stood out as maybe some of the less discussed guys who haven't played too much in the past? Have you talked to Coach Norton about who's kind of stood out, you think?
Yeah, we discuss personnel every single day, so I think I feel really good about our linebacker spot. Kane's done a really nice job. Darius has been outstanding since we've been here. John wasn't with us in the spring, but has really picked up kind of where he left off, and John's done a really nice job in there. Jeremiah Trojan's done a really nice job in that group. There's a bunch of guys that are competing and trying to stand out at that position.
When it comes to, you've done really well. You've been aggressive in transfer recruiting. How does that impact how you build a roster year in and year out now with the way transfer recruiting is?
Just the nature of the game we're involved in right now. So that's just, those are the rules that are presented by the NCAA. So you adhere to the rules that are presented by the NCAA. Every year you're team building, and how do we put the best team together for this season? And it's a year-to-year deal. The way it is now, it's no longer you're bringing in 25 freshmen and we'll redshirt them all and develop them, and then 5 years from now we'll be good. 5 years from now, you're probably not going to be around. So everything's a year-to-year we don't really look at it as recruiting anymore. We look at it as team building. So how do we build the best team for the 2022 season? And it's a combination of high school and transfers. You can't predict what the market's going to be like because you don't know who's going in the portal. It's not like the NFL where you know in free agency that this guy's contract's up, he's going to be a free agent. You know who to identify then. So you just have to stay on top of it and be in front of it. And the biggest thing is finding the right athletic, academic, and cultural fits for what we have in our locker room and how they would fit in with our guys. So I think our staff has done a really good job from that standpoint.
With transfer recruiting so prevalent now, how has that affected how you approach high school recruiting, like at this time of year?
Same thing. We're full bore in both. So it's, you're not doing any transfer work right now because there's nobody in the portal right now. So you're full bore on your high school kids, and everything we determine is he can come in here and contribute. If he can come in here and contribute, whether he's a transfer or a high school kid. I think the days of, hey, let's take a flyer on this kid, I think he may be a developmental kid. He hasn't really shown much, but he's got some height, weight, and speed, and we'll just see if he pans out. You're not going to do that now because you could potentially not have a scholarship for a kid who can come in and start for you next fall.
So you're selectively making that decision on high school players now compared
We've
to
done
what
that.
you used to?
We've always done that, though. I think some other people's models have been that, are you going to take a developmental kid? For us, especially when we first got here because we were so young, we wanted to get some older kids in our program. And at that point in time, it wasn't the transfer portal, it was the grad transfer route. So we took the Wilton States and some of those guys of the world that came in here as grad transfers and really helped us. Got us to be older a little bit quicker. That first year, I think we had 44 new kids in fall camp. We brought 29 in, and then we brought another 14 walk-ons in. So, our goal when we first got here was to try to, how do we get a little bit older because we were such a young team, and the grad transfer route was the first 2 years of that. And then when they made the rule that you were instantly eligible, then that pool of transfers just got bigger for you.
The NCAA Council said that they're tabling the discussion on the multi-transfer immediate eligibility. Is that something you expect to pass, that you're in favor of eventually?
I have no idea. So I don't. If it passes, they tell us. If it doesn't pass, I don't. So I don't spend time on things that I don't have a say in. So I don't sit there and wonder, hey, is this going to pass? Is this not going to pass? Erin Atkins in our compliance office does an unbelievable job, and she keeps us abreast of everything. And so if the rule passes, then you adjust with it, because it's the rule passes for everybody. It's not that it would just affect us; it would affect every team. So if that's what it is, that's what it is.
You talked about not knowing who's going to be in the portal every year and what could be available. Does that mean that you need to have a strong base of high school players and then supplement with what's available, or it sounds like you're kind of mixing and matching?
You're mixing and matching. You always don't think you can predict the future, so you don't have that. I think one of the things we've always been conscious of is saving some scholarships so when kids fit. We were fortunate last year. We were at 84, and then Devin Opry went in the portal. We were lucky because we had a scholarship ability to pick that after a year ago. I think we just got to plan strategically. You don't know if it's going to be good. You may be short a year or two. You may be at 81 or 82, but you don't want to get caught short. That's about as far as the planning part goes. So you really don't know, but you just got to kind of go through every contingency and see if you can kind of have a basis going.
Are you gonna the Nick Pasquale scholarship that went to Ethan Fournier? Are you gonna award that later in camp, or how's that gonna work?
Yeah, that wasn't a scholarship award. He just wore his number. So Ethan earned that scholarship a long time ago. We've always had a great history since I've been here. Josh Kelly, Greg Dulcich, Ethan, guys that have come in as walk-ons and have contributed. So it's not a formal affair. Whoever wears his number was a former walk-on, but that's not tied to a scholarship award either.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.